I wouldn't be sitting here right now if it wasn't for the relationships I've built over the last 9 years with my chef and restaurant partners, as well as my customers at the farmers markets. My name is Hiram Ramirez, and I'm the owner and operator of Urban Gourmet Farms. I'm a mushroom farmer. I'm also a delivery driver. I'm also a salesperson, do a lot of cleaning. I wear a lot of hats in this business, and we grow a lot of mushrooms. In 2013, I was working fine dining in front of the house. I was getting a little burned out. I didn't really have many other options. I didn't know too many other things I could possibly do. But a couple of years before that, I kind of fell down this really nerdy mushroom cultivation rabbit hole. And I realized no one was doing it. No one's growing mushrooms at a scale that I feel that Charlotte could support with as many restaurants that we had. So it took a little while. It took a little bit more burning out. But in 2015, without proof of concept and without ever growing a singular mushroom, I decided to throw everything I have into a warehouse, and Urban Gourmet Farms was born. And it was quite the operation, I guess is a word you can use. It was kind of held together with duct tape and prayers, but I did get it off the ground. Had partners in the beginning, that kind of went away really quickly, and then it was just me. And I achieved my goal of being the mushroom man, but it was not pretty. It took some time, but we started to grow better mushrooms. I say we, it was just me at the time, but I started to grow better mushrooms, started to be more consistent, started to develop these relationships, these very important relationships, some of which I still have today. Of the restaurants that I started with, I am still with all of them unless they close. And I've lost restaurants because they've closed, and aside from that, most of my relationships are still there, which is pretty awesome. It's all about creating that bond with someone, providing a good product for them, and being reliable, communicating. It's a really big key. Chefs have a lot going on, and the last thing they need to do is chase people around looking for their product that they have on their menu and they don't have in their kitchen. So that was probably the biggest leap into our success, building these relationships, having these relationships. And then that's just on the wholesale side of things. The farmers market was a whole different beast. I had to educate people. I had to build this market that didn't exist. There wasn't a mushroom person at the markets. And if they did have mushrooms, they were shiitakes. Everybody knows shiitakes. No one knew lion's mane. No one knew what a chestnut was. So I had to educate folks. I had to teach them on like the great things that mushrooms, how healthy they are, how how much vitamin D they have. And it was just this school at the farmer's market. I've been at the farmer's market for 8-9 years now. I'm actually on the board of the Matthews Community Farmers Market. I volunteer there, but my little booth went from hardly having any sales to having a line that lasts an hour. And it's pretty amazing. I know my customers' kids, we have this great, almost family relationship, and it's pretty fantastic. Some of it is more than just like I said, driving around and dropping off mushrooms and picking up a check. Some of my regulars at the farmers market, especially during the pandemic, I was dropping off mushrooms at their house. I had a cooler set up on my front porch where some of my regulars came by and picked up their particular bag of mushrooms and drove home. I even took a scooter up to Uptown to drop off mushrooms at one of my regulars' place of work during I think it was Pride. So you can't really park in Uptown when there's that many vehicles. So I just took a little scooter from Atherton. It was quite a nice ride. But like I said, it's those relationships that's really what solidified me in this town. Around 2018, I was outgrowing the warehouse, and the farm was probably pushing about 300 pounds a week. I also wanted to bring a lot of the processes in the house, and I did not have the space. So I started this expansion, and around the same time, very serendipitously, I get a random phone call from a gentleman talking about Roots Farm. Enter Roots Farm. So in 2019, I picked up the entire farm and moved it from Charlotte, North Carolina to Weddington, North Carolina, and went from growing in a warehouse to growing in converted shipping containers. At that point, we're sitting there growing probably 450 pounds of mushrooms a week. And I say we, it was just me back then, but then slowly started to scale up as the economy started to pick up post-pandemic. we started to grow even more mushrooms. Hit about 650 pounds, then I started to develop a team. Grayson came on board, then shortly after that, Brandon and Sarah. And now we're sitting here growing about 1,000 pounds a week, making a majority of our blocks in-house, and basically creating everything that we grow. From 1,000 pounds will probably be about 1,200 pounds here in the next couple of weeks. And I think probably cap out at about 1,500 pounds for the time being. And then we'll regroup at that point. Thanks to the support of our chefs, restaurants, and folks at the farmers market, we were able to continue our growth. We're now in 3 farmers markets. We self-distribute to over 25 restaurants, and we have a partnership with Freshlist that gets us in another 20 to 30 restaurants. I'm excited to see how far this thing is going to go and how big we're going to get. If you want to know a little bit more about what we do here at the farm, feel free to visit us at the Matthews Community Farmers Market, the Waxhaw Farmers Market, or the South End Market at Atherton Mills. Or you can check us out on our website, urbangourmetfarms.com, or our social medias, Urban Gourmet Farms at Facebook and Instagram.